Harleys.
Yep.
Oh, we're all guilty of them. Hi, hello, good morning. Good morning. So we're going to talk about some Sam Raimi, and then we're going to do like a crap load of fan questions.
Oh,
No, most of this is going down. Fan questions. Hello, Spenny G.
Hey, I'm on Gilbert Island today. So
I know,
lonely.
you're so...
It's my favorite reality show, Gilbert Island.
It's the one where different Gilberts trying to find out if they're compatible with Gilberts.
It's Spencer and Sarah Gilbert.
Yep.
Yes.
It does.
Yep.
I've got my Dan.
Hello. How are you? We're on Dan Island over here.
I know.
It's
I'm
way
so
more fun
sorry.
than Gilbert Island.
Should have been named a Dan. I don't know what to tell you.
That's where I went wrong.
What
I'm not naming myself Dan.
Naming yourself Dan.
Isn't Dan Gilbert the host, the owner of the
Yeah, he owns
Washington
the
Redskins?
Cleveland Cavaliers. Yeah.
No.
Close.
Yeah.
It's Dan Snyder.
Oh,
another
Dan Snyder. Different Dan.
Love to have in your club, wouldn't
Yes.
Don't be that.
Yeah. No,
it
I
turns
didn't
out-
think I wanted Dan Gilbert. Turns out I do, and I don't want Dan Snyder.
Why not Snyder ever?
Yeah.
Very stubborn. The first thing we're going to talk about, which something is I'm really actually excited about, Sam Raimi is in talks for Doctor Strange 2 via Variety. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is now, they have Sam Raimi in talks for it, which I actually really like that. He's replacing Scott Derrickson, which that bums me out. But who Variety reported on January 9th had officially departed the project due to creative differences. We all know what that, there's a system at Marvel, and some people can do the system.
Get with the program, Scott.
Scott. Do you think they had Michael Douglas call up Scott Derrickson just to give him notes? Just like, Scott.
I read the script.
studio
Have you
doesn't
seen
like
WandaVision? Because we got to work it in a lot more.
Yeah.
We're building a multiverse, not a Scottiverse.
Well, he will remain as an executive producer because that's what you do when you kick someone out of the club. Don't hate outside the club. That's what happens. Marvel had no comment because they never do. But the internet, see, everyone on my timeline is like, why does everyone hate Scott Raimi doing this? I didn't see any of that. I guess
Sam
I have
Raimi?
Sam Raimi, I guess I have a good timeline. I haven't seen anyone hate on Sam Raimi. I've only seen love.
I mean,
Yeah.
respect the
My
Evil Dead
timeline must
trilogy.
be-
Yeah.
yeah.
Come on, respect.
Similar.
Respect your elders. Those were great films.
Also seen in Hercules. He was part of that as well.
Seen in Hercules. So he was a great horror comedy director before he became a great superhero director. What's the problem? What's the problem here? Is there a problem?
I haven't
Do we have a
seen.
problem?
Apparently, some people have a problem. I have not seen it.
Some
I think
people
that-
have a
Some
problem
people are
with
saying it's a
everything.
very bad choice. I've heard.
Top folks.
Believe
Very
me,
bad
people,
choice.
he's bad. He's rude.
Very rude, very bad. I feel like this is one of those, there are cases, and we have talked about this before, where one or two people who have a combined 300 followers will be like, I hate Thing, and then everyone
It drives the
jumps
conversation.
to dunk on them, and I haven't seen it. I'm sorry, and I don't dunk on that anymore because that's how we make stupid people famous.
Well, let me talk about my feelings about this, so you can all dunk on me. I was, as we learned on this show, I was super bummed out when Scott Derrickson left
Yeah, I
because
don't like
I
it.
loved what he brought to the first Doctor Strange film. I loved the aesthetic that he brought to it, and I was like super. That really sort of lowered my excitement for this because I loved what he brought to the MCU. However, this was the director I didn't know I wanted for this particular movie, in the sense that, like, yes, I would prefer to Scott Derrickson be able to stay and realize
still,
his
yeah,
vision. But
for sure.
given what the tone of this movie seems to be, and even the name Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, if you got to find a replacement, I mean, Sam Raimi, that's
great.
a pretty good name.
It's
I'm not going to lie, that's a pretty good name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an MCU movie with him, and I know, and Rachel McAdams isn't coming back, but like, I don't
Dr. Girlfriend.
need that. Like, who?
Fine. Yeah.
I
There wasn't
love.
much meat on that bone for her to.
No,
work
she
with.
didn't have a lot to sink her teeth into.
Yeah.
I love women in MCU movies, but she was just the girlfriend. Like, I'm not cranky about it.
Yeah,
Don't-
she wasn't Pepper Potts. She was salty side piece.
She was Betty Ross. She was Jane Foster before they decided to give her something to do. She was, she had something
I like
to
the
do in the
surgery
first
scene,
movie,
like
but-
the ghost surgery scene that she had. That was something.
But that wasn't even really about her. That was
No,
about,
it's never about
Ghost House.
Yeah.
And
Ghost House.
Ghost House. But the thing with Sam Raimi is, I bag on Spider-Man 3 as much as anybody else.
It was not good, but that was not his fault.
But that's true. He didn't want to do that. That was the studio. That is true. He still made the movie, but he didn't want to.
He didn't want to knock and let the devil in.
Exactly. Alien. Anyway, but Spider-Man, and particularly Spider-Man 2, I still see Spider-Man 2 is one of the best superhero movies ever made.
Absolutely.
Top 5 for me. So bring that, and then we know that he's got the ability to nail the genre, as it is. But then you add the horror element. I'm in.
Come on. Yeah.
I'm in.
Slam dunk.
I like it. I'm a fan.
I think it's great. So people, I guess people worried about Doctor Strange needing a new director so close to filming.
It's always a concern.
Yeah.
It
Very
is a
fair concern.
They're supposed to start filming, but it's also Sam Raimi. It's I don't know. Everyone has their own opinion. Sam Raimi is a very experienced director.
Yeah, and he's also the master of kind of doing things ad hoc and on a shoestring budget and like making use of what's around him. Like the camera rigs he used for Evil Dead is like Vaseline, gaffer's tape, and a broom.
I don't want him to have money. Joe tweeted it, and he's not here. But Joe was like, just give him $100,000 and let's see what happens.
I would love to see a $100,000
Yeah.
Sam Raimi Doctor Strange movie.
I want to see it more than anything.
Would never happen, but yeah.
Yeah, I prefer that. He's a great practical director, and frankly, Doctor Strange. I'm worried he might not get a chance to do a lot of his signature stuff because so much of this is all done pre-vised and
That's
being
my
worked
concern.
on years in advance.
I don't want this to be a Ron Howard solo Peter Jackson Hobbit trilogy situation where you bring in a great name in the director's chair to execute the pre-visualized sequences that someone else has designed or at least has largely designed. Because that way, I think, is not a good way to go. So I do hope that this is done with enough time for him to put his stamp on it in a way that goes beyond just like, oh, we need an experienced director to point where to walk on the green screen for our actor. Like, no, I do want to see that Sam Raimi touch.
Speaking of that Sam Raimi stank, and all of the beloved characters that you know from Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Who does Lucy Lawless play?
Is she in it?
What?
No, I just assume.
Oh.
It's Sam Raimi.
Oh,
He's going to have Lucy Lawless, and he's going to have his brother. So
Yeah.
who do they play?
and Bruce Campbell.
Shuma Gorath.
And Bruce Campbell.
Yeah, it's some eldritch horror, you know. She'll CGI her. She'll be like, who's the I Have Spoken guy?
The Ugnaught?
Yeah, who played like that?
Oh, Nick Nolte?
Yeah, she'll Nick Nolte it. There'll be some creepy puppet that she voices.
Sure. Why not? I'm on board with it.
Who would you like Raimi to play? I'm sorry, I like Cena too much to not bring them into the conversation.
Well, we brought Jay Jonah back in, so he should just play the same guy.
I think she should too. Just the spiky hair, and she's like, I don't know, he was really hot. Like
Hercules is DC, right? He's like,
Well,
there's an
Hercules-
actual Hercules. The
Well,
Green
he's-
Panther.
there's a Marvel
he's also-
Hercules.
Is it Marvel?
Yeah.
Technically,
Yeah.
Lawrence Fishburne plays the character Bill Foster, who was one of the Herculeses, but you can have
Herculi.
multiple Herculi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I hope she plays Xena, Warrior Princess.
You're speaking my language. Okay, so he's one of the first Marvel directors in a really long time to have a history of doing big studio movies, unlike indie directors coming in and that they've hired. Do you want to see more like prestige? I call him prestige. I know a lot of people. He's a pulp director, and that's what we love about him. Do you want to see more of this in MCU? I do.
I want to see more directors with a distinctive vision.
A point of view sounds amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. They have a house style, but you want someone to be able to work within that house style and kind of bring their own panache to it, which can happen. It seems like it does work better, though, when they snatch like an indie director out of obscurity and take what they like and get rid of the rest, rather than when they've gotten like an Edgar Wright,
Or a Sam Raimi.
or a Sam Raimi who has their own look and feel to a movie, they tend to butt heads and leave production. So I hope it works. I think it can be done, but it's definitely a compromise because you're entering essentially somebody else's TV series that you're making an episode of.
Who should have a chainsaw hand?
I mean, Doctor Strange does too.
I think Wong.
A lot of Wong.
Wong needs a chainsaw hand.
He's earned it.
He's earned a chainsaw hand.
But I want Benedict to. Well, he could say, "Wong, your hand is a chainsaw."
Yeah, and then he'll be like,
Oh my
Well, no,
God.
then he'll do the single ladies dance, but with 2 chainsaws.
Yeah.
Although Doctor Strange is a surgeon, so would it be useful to have a chainsaw hand?
yeah.
Because then you just don't need a scalpel. You can just
Totally.
like cut and operate. Yeah, because he has
Sorry,
hand.
that's what it is.
He already has hand damage.
He does. He has
So
a lot
what
of hand
if
lore.
one of the hands becomes a chainsaw? I think we're onto something there.
Oh, good. We're 11 minutes in. We're into the point of the show where I thank you all for liking and subscribing. And, like, very genuinely, I got to make chainsaw noises. Guys, I have been very weird the last 2 weeks. I don't know what's wrong with me. I am so sorry. But thank you all for liking and subscribing and turning on those notifications, commenting. Thank you for hitting that bell. Thank you for sharing us with all of your friends. Y'all, Dan and Roth came back together. And it was beautiful. And it was to talk about Birds of Prey.
Yeah, we did a review.
I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I watched it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for watching that.
I
Yes.
don't watch any of our stuff.
You
I'm
can-
not
you
watching your
can-
reviews. I don't watch anything I'm in.
I don't know.
My way.
I don't watch anything.
I was there. Why watch it?
Exactly. I was there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do a review for Birds of Prey. You can see it right here on this very channel right now or after the show. Watch the show, then watch
Well,
this.
do this
yeah.
then, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's always good teaming up. People enjoy the team
A
up.
fun film. I'm excited it's getting mostly positive reviews.
I liked the movie.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. I enjoyed the movie. Roth enjoyed the movie. So yeah.
And they had really good. They talked about the movie. It made me really happy. They're Roth and Dan. Come on, you're gonna watch that review. Don't act like you're not. Also, our honest trailer. We told y'all we were doing an extra honest trailer. Bonus. Pew, 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 pew. We did one for the Oscars 2020. That's out. We did it.
That's like 9 honest trailers in one. So we'll see you in April.
Yep. 2 months off. Goodbye.
Later.
We have to do more honest trailers. I have rent to pay.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. We have to do more honest trailers. I
All right.
apologize.
For Danielle's rent, we'll keep
Yeah,
it.
we'll do
We
it.
have a lot of rent. Also,
Rent. Sorry.
rent. Also, I got to announce this. I'm really excited. I do think this is going to be a lot of fun. I insist you all wear suits. We're not going to wear suits. We're poor.
I make no guarantees.
We're all
I have a
gonna-
tuxedo T-shirt somewhere.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
I feel like you would wear that to the actual Oscar.
Yeah.
If you were ever nominated, like you would just wear a tuxedo
What's
T-shirt.
that?
that's
The
actually really
decorum it deserves.
But we are doing a Movie Fights Live right after the Oscars on February 9th. Is it going to be us? I don't know. Who knows?
Yes.
Yeah. No special guests. Or will there be? No, we would have had to plan that by now. Or will there be? I don't plan
Scorsese
these
will be
things.
here
Yes.
live.
Sorry, Martin Scorsese will be here. He might
We
have a
say
conflict.
a lot of things that aren't true all
Yeah.
the time. But so we're going to have a Movie Fights Live. I'm really excited about this. I think
Anna
it's gonna be
Paquin
really
will be
fun.
on it, but she won't have any lines.
Well,
Yeah, she'll be in
there's
the
a
back.
lot of like,
We'll have Pac-Man Cam.
Yeah, Paquin Cam. Anna, what do you think? Judging us silently as the moral center and compass of the movie who can make an impact without saying anything. Good. Okay, great.
Okay, great.
just a lot of Mark
Keep it up.
Simpson noises. It's going to be great.
Yes.
Oh, man. Guys, we have a lot of fan questions, and I'm really excited for most
do
of
it.
these.
Let's do this.
All right, I do. Louise in Venezuela asks, what concluded/canceled series do you want to see make a comeback just to finish any loose plot threads?
Okay.
Frasier, not enough Seattle.
Say, did they leave anything hanging on Frasier?
Literally,
They all got married. They're all fine.
they all phrased.
Yeah, they phrased out.
I want to know where they live. I'm sorry. Look, they don't. Their house does not make sense. Do they live in Queen Anne? Do they live in Belltown? Us from Seattle have a lot of
Happy, they're
opinions.
rich, they voted for Trump. We all know. We all know what happened to the Frasier. Come on.
Frasier fell
We all
off.
know. This is not casting aspersions, but let's be honest.
He fell off a stage.
They're
once.
fine.
I feel
They're
bad,
fine.
but because he's old.
I mean, the dad probably went full MAGA. for sure.
The dog went full mega.
Yeah, but I think that Fraser and Niles would probably abstain. They're probably Yang Gang.
Yang Gang! Did they have where they squirted the thing into their mouths?
Yeah, that was
That's
the
how you
finale.
get
Yeah,
initiated.
that's true. You get the what was it, whipped cream?
Whipped cream.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I would like to bring back Pirates of Dark Water, a cartoon I used to really like,
I
and they were
loved
trying
it.
to find all the pieces of something. I don't think they ever found all the pieces, or if they did, they had to tie it all up in one final episode.
And the water sucked and it was dark.
It was dark water, yeah, but it had a really cool art style, and like
was
there
really
was
great.
it was definitely serialized, like you were working your way towards something, but I think it got canceled too soon because people didn't want to see these kind of bizarre pirate folk
Yeah, it was kind
roaming
of
the seas.
Bummer.
Yeah.
And children don't like bummers.
No, they
it
don't.
turns out.
I feel like every show that left anything hanging, they just have already brought back. Because it used to be like, oh, what would more Twin Peaks look like? Well, now we know. We know what more Twin Peaks
And
looks
it
like.
was-
So we're running out of things to bring back. I say we pull a Halloween / Terminator and forget the movies that came after it and bring back Alf and resolve the cliffhanger
I
from
thought
the
you were
actual
going Sarah Connor Chronicles,
Which
but
is a
you
great
pivoted
show.
into Alf.
Alf.
Which I
No,
respect.
yes, I'm pivoting into Alf because he
was in Mr.
That
Robot.
don't know, he wasn't Mr. Robot. For people that don't know, the TV show Alf ended with Alf. They're taking Alf to go back to Melmac, and the alien ship is coming down, and then the
Ice comes.
the alien ice comes, and they surround him, and the ship flies away, and he's like in a field with like surrounded by government agents, and that's the end.
Whoa, cliffhanger.
That's the end of the show. And then they made like some bad TV movies, but no.
I liked the cartoon.
Pick up the show
Pick right back up.
from where we left off, or maybe 30 years later. Alf. Puppets need to make a comeback on primetime network television.
I do think Practical is great.
Practical is great.
How do you do that stage though? Because it was really dangerous.
You bring OSHA in.
The stage was dangerous.
You're definitely going to need to bring OSHA in because that stage was apparently a death trap. So
Lost a lot of good elves then.
yeah, the Alfs were fine. It was everyone
the
else.
humans.
Lost a lot of good grips that
But no
way.
one cares about
Yeah.
the grips. No one cares about the best of boys. John Michael Harris asks, Disney and Universal have theme parks. What media company do you wish had theme parks? My answer, A24.
Ooh, okay.
yeah.
I want-
That's twisted.
I think I just miss drugs.
Yeah.
I think I just miss doing drugs.
You could do the Uncut Gem Sports Bar.
Oh, where everyone's just yelling at you all at once,
Yeah.
like any sports bar.
Yeah. Right. Let's see. What else was-
Hereditary. You have the Hereditary.
The Midsummer Maypole
The Midsummer Maple.
Yeah.
If you
do it
feel
like
really
a-
neglected as a human.
/ petting zoo.
Yeah.
You could do Lighthouse. Like that's the viewing tower. Like at the center is the
Oh,
you
the
go in
lighthouse. It's like a Tower of Terror
Yeah.
type thing.
Oh, and speaking of Towers of Terror, they also produce Pod Save America. So if you just really
A24?
want to be bummed
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
you can,
How's that going?
You can watch some Pod Save America.
Save
Yeah.
that.
Y'all,
They did it.
I like an adult themed park.
Yeah.
A24, the experience, the ride.
The ride, the
A24, the ride. It's sold as one thing, but when you get there, it's completely different than what you expected,
like
which
that.
either excites you or makes you very angry.
and they had no budget to promote it. What
No
would
budget.
you do?
What would I do? Oh man, I mean,
And you are famously a lover of theme parks.
I'm getting there. Yeah, I enjoy going to theme park. I'm not like Mike Carlson. Like I don't.
yes,
I'm
yes.
I'm not on that level, and I never will be. I acknowledge that.
No one will.
What would I enjoy? Well, I'm a Star Trek fan, so like, but I think you can make a pretty kick-ass park with like Star Trek. Like a Paramount theme park, Star Trek, Mission Impossible, Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
They have, well, Universal has Transformers, but Paramount also owns Transformers. So maybe you can figure out a way to lease some kind of Transformers attraction. Like their properties aren't doing well, but the ones they have could be good theme park. Maybe that's their future. Maybe their future is in theme parks.
Teenage Future
You have
Ninja
Dora the
Turtles.
Explorer World for the kids.
I would. That's totally dope.
I'll go with YouTube and Instagram influencers, but it's not like a theme park so much as it's like one of those safari open air zoos where like they kind of populate their natural habitat, like put a bunch of like millennial pink walls and like weird statues that they can pose in front of, and like a pizza museum. Sam. So like they're all just constantly selfieing themselves and each other.
There's a marriage every day
There's a
between
marriage,
two random
fake
ones.
marriages, fake deaths. They're always grifting each other. Boxing matches. And you're just in these like
They
Jurassic
really like
Park
to
style
hit.
jeeps, like taking your own photos and recoiling when they get too close.
Please don't touch the paws. If you feed the paws, they only make more paws.
That's yeah. All right. Yeah.
It's also called Parts of Los Angeles.
I drive by a big pink wall every day, and I just see people taking pictures in front of it, and I'm
Venice
just like,
Beach in West Hollywood.
why is it's a big pink wall? I don't understand. It's like
It's
okay.
millennial pink.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess.
It's for us, I guess. No one knows what a
I think it's like a They Live thing where I don't see something that's on that wall that everyone younger than 25 does or something. I don't know.
Yep.
Oh, it's the worst. All right. Next. Ooh, this is a fun question that's just for me. Esteban Benitez asks, what do you think about Han being an F9? Is it enough justice for Han?
Depends.
I'm a Han truther. I don't think that's really Han. I think that's a Han clone.
I
or a
say
Han
twin brother.
Twin brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. So until I get confirmation, that's Han. And justice
That
for
is
Han.
that series, by the way, would be like, I'm Han's twin brother.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Because they've already
And then
done.
and then at the end, they're like, reveal that his name is Khan. Sorry. I'm the worst.
They've already
name
done
is
the
Khan.
brought back from the dead once with
Yeah.
Letty. So I am of the opinion that yes, we are going to get justice for Han, but that justice will be done by his twin brother.
The issue, though, is justice would entail working in Shaw, Deckard Shaw, and he ain't coming into this franchise. Although they do have Helen Mirren in this one, so
They do.
questionable. But a true reckoning for Han would be a confrontation between him and Jason Statham.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I don't think we're gonna get that.
Well, that's the thing is maybe that's why it is Han, because he can't have actually died and then you have Jason Statham involved in this in any way because he still murdered their friend. I don't care how nice he is to you.
All right.
So I guess
I don't
if he's
care how
not
hot
dead,
his sister is. You
right?
killed their friend.
If he's not dead, then I guess it's like you only tried to kill our friend.
Yeah.
Don't
It'll be
like
some
it.
conspiracy where he was in on it, and it was a double switch.
Yeah, he definitely grabbed a bottle of Nos and like unscrewed it and then rode it like a jetpack out of the wreck before.
My favorite thing is making Dan have to figure out real fan theories about Fast 9. It's so good. We're going to get to stuff that's actually important soon, I promise. First, Drew Dionne. What's your favorite way to eat potatoes? He gave examples. They gave examples, sorry. French fries, mashed potatoes, baked potatoes, etc. So other than boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
Yeah.
What do you like about potatoes?
French fries are my weakness. They're my
they're so good.
kryptonite. I just they're up there. I love French fries, but if it's not French fries, I enjoy a good sweet potato, mashed
Ooh.
sweet potato,
Sweet potatoes are great.
hash
Yeah,
browns,
yeah.
hash browns.
Ooh,
Love a
hash
good
brown.
hash brown.
What about a
Ooh.
tot?
Love a tot. Like the tots, like a good baked potato with some cheddar and bacon.
Oh, those are good.
Yeah,
I do
fully loaded baked potatoes.
I do. Those are amazing. I do a fancy potato called a fondant potato.
Okay.
It's something that was only for English lords back in the late 1800s.
All right.
It's really dope. You take a potato and you cut it off until it's like a rectangle, and then you like make it all crispy. In a pan with like some people use duck fat. I use duck fat, and stock and some water, and you make it all crispy. Do a thing.
Sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
When I cook, it's an all-day process because I'm only doing it once. Like, I'm not doing it very often. Sorry if you marry me. I'm never cooking a whole bunch.
I will say just like French fries I put in their own genre and are clearly this most superior potato. But if I just have a potato and it's like, do something with this. I mean, a baked potato is incredibly easy and incredibly delicious. You get
They're
sour
so
cream,
good.
cheese, chives, you know.
Just eat it like an apple too.
It's terrifying. You win.
The sweet potato fry. I'm also discovering.
Sweet potato fry was very good. And they're not as crappy for you. Not that that matters.
Well, no, it does. My metabolism is slowing down, because, so I have to figure out a way to indulge my love of French fries in perhaps a more healthy way.
Yeah.
Again, it turns out we're all millennials, guys, and millennials are old. I'm very excited about this. I'm going to save this question for last because I do want to. Amandna C.S. Hey guys, I'm trying to get into Star Trek, but I am admittedly a bit lost on where to begin. There's a lot of Star Trek. Do you guys have any advice? Does someone need to watch all of the series in order, or is there one series that is a nice jump forward for newcomers?
Let Dan take care of this one. Yeah.
I mean, you could watch all the series in order, but
I think
it sucks because I love Star Trek, but if you're trying to get into it, I don't know if I would recommend just like binging the original series or even Next Generation right off the bat.
I think Next Generation season 2. I'm one of those people that's like, I don't think it's a bad thing to jump into season 2. Parks and Rec.
Sure.
Don't do the first season.
I feel bad. The Office, everything, every comedy.
I made a list once and it was very extensive and sent it to someone because someone else asked this question and I don't remember it.
Tweet it.
I don't remember where it was.
Oh, no.
But you can find plenty of resources. It's what I did when I was doing Doctor Who, the classic Doctor Who, and realized there's no way I could get through all of it. Check. I would just because everyone has a different opinion. I would check 5 or 6 or 7 or even more different types of things and just particularly with the original series that are the best episodes, and just look for common episodes, look for episodes that pop up or essential episodes that pop up, and watch those. Watch 7 or 8 of those for original series just to get a feel for the roots of it. And then I would say do this. Well, TNG's a little more serialized. Obviously, the Best of Both Worlds is the big event on TNG. I would see look for best episodes for season 3, a couple good ones from season 1, a couple good ones from season 2. Really, the Borg. Watch the Borg episodes of TNG. That'll give you a good run of sort of that show and things that are still going through Picard. And then I would just try a little sampler platter. Find a few different sources. Try a little sampler platter of each one, and if you like it, then order the entree and dig in.
If you like silliness, the Tribbles episode of DS9 is pretty great.
Watch Wrath of Khan, the movie. Don't watch Star Trek: The Motion Picture. You'll never watch Star Trek again. No. Watch Wrath of Khan.
Or Into Darkness. You'll never watch Star Trek again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Watch First Contact for Next Generation movies. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I would just curate yourself a little list, and then see what you think. That's my advice.
You're gonna make a list today, aren't you?
I already did. That's the thing. It took me so long that I don't know if I can compile it again. I might have it somewhere.
Oh, here's another really good one. Cody Guest is asking, who actually votes for the Oscars? I feel like I have a vague idea, but who exactly is the Academy?
Well, it's everyone who's been nominated before. I think you're automatically in.
And a lot of producers, and people who produce movies.
I don't know, actually, because I think Brie Larson was only invited recently and she won. I think you have to be invited.
Oh, okay.
You have to be invited to join the Academy, which they've grown their membership drastically in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, they've been trying to shake up the rules. You have to have actually been. It used to be if they decided you were in and you made a movie once, you had to be in forever.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, then we just keep nominating the same movies. So you have to have been involved in movies.
Actually, I was reading that they backed off of that. No, they were going to make it an emeritus rule where if you were sort of inactive for a while, then...
Because it wasn't even 20 years? Come on, you can make a movie in 10 or 20 years. But give them money.
Yeah, I was reading that they backed off that rule because there was too much of an uproar. I'm looking up, because I just read some demographics. I'm going to see if I can find them. That's from 2012. Here we go. Mm-hmm. But yes, you have to be invited to join. They've been inviting a lot more people into the club. It's over 8,000 members. They've added 2,000 in the last 3 years. Where's it? 49. Oh no, sorry. This is very. Thank you for not covering for me while I'm looking up these numbers.
I'm the worst person in the entire world. So while you are looking that up,
let me look this up real quick.
It's arbitrary. It's what they decide. They invite people based on whether they think that they will fit the club. Or if there's enough of an outcry, they will widen that net a little bit.
Yeah, so there's no I wish we could say that you have to do this and you have to do that. There are some rules where you have to make a movie.
I guess so. Yeah, that you have to be involved in the film industry. I wonder if executives are in the Academy at all, film. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I genuinely have no idea. So
I feel like most people don't actually know who's in the Academy. I think that when we do or after the Academy, we should do a little small thing that's who actually are the people. One of my favorite documentaries is the documentary that talks about the people who were involved with the MPAA.
Okay.
Where they actually talk about the people who are involved in the rating system, and who talk about the rating system, because that was something where it's like a lot of people didn't know how that worked and who they were. I would be very interested in a documentary about people who are like, who exactly is in the Academy? How do you get chosen for the Academy? Like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's, we know who's in it. Sorry, I found the demographic I was looking for, which is that they vastly use their role upped their roles, because in 2012 the demographic makeup of the Academy was 94% male. 94% white, 77% male, with an average voting age of 63. So they have since really made a big push into diversifying their roles and inviting more people, younger people, people of color.
As we're saying, though, when you're in, at this point, you're in for life.
Yes.
No, you're in for life.
So, like, these are people...
Like Supreme Court, like,
who
it doesn't
made
matter.
movies in the 40s and 50s. Well, maybe not 40s. In the late 50s, who are probably still alive and voting on,
Remember when pictures
Moonlight versus
weren't
La La
in
Land.
color?
Yeah.
And it is like, there's every year THR, the Hollywood Reporter, runs these blind ballots, and I was reading one yesterday, and it is what you fear the Oscars are, because it's literally like best director, because it's basically they go to somebody and then like, this person is in the acting branch, which by the way, the way it's nominated is the different branches nominate the different things. So the acting branches nominate the actors, the directing branches nominate the directors, cinematographers, etc., and then everyone votes for the winners.
Right.
So people that don't maybe necessarily have a grasp on cinematography are voting for best cinematography. But
And you've had a great idea about doing jury voting for a
jury
lot of
panel. I think the nominations should be juried. If you want to leave voting up to the entire membership, I think that's fine. But I think nominations should be juried, because I think that you should have people that are committed to seeing as many things as possible every single year. And it works on an honor system where you're supposed to, but I don't think that works.
And a lot of people, I'm sorry, everyone, I don't want to invalidate folks. I see like a lot of these accounts that are like, this is the best cinematography I've ever seen. I'm like, you don't know what cinematography means. And that doesn't mean that these aren't beautiful shots. It doesn't mean that these aren't like images from movies that you love. I don't think you know what it means.
Yeah, and there's, but when it comes down to voting, you can't really. There's not really much. Again, like this blind ballot that I read, it was an actress, an older actress in the acting branch, who was basically like voted for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because she's like, I was around in the 1960s and that's what it looked like, so I voted for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And then when it got to Best Director, it's like 1917 was good, but I want an American to win Best Director, so I voted for Quentin Tarantino. It's like, oh boy. So that's where the push is with the Academy now, is they are trying to bring in some new blood that maybe is a little more activated. Let's say activated. Perhaps a little more open to different sorts, at least weighing things a little less on like, well, that was a good depiction of Frankenmussos, so I voted for that. It's like, that's the goal.
Right, and you can't. I mean, unfortunately, you can't police why people vote for what they vote for. They vote for the things that they like, and a lot of times it's you vote for things that you're familiar with.
We vote for the Emmys. I haven't seen every TV show.
I like when we start doing the Emmy voting and everyone starts asking me about reality shows, and they're like, so what's this Total Divas, Total Bellas thing?
Yeah.
So what's this wrestling thing?
Which
And I'm
I
like,
vote for, the Divas or the Bellas?
well, they are very different, and we will talk about that off camera. And then lastly, because I think this is something that we all know a lot about, and I want to make sure that we hit this. Which Ninja Turtle are you?
It's Leonardo. I'm boring.
Don't you think?
You're not boring.
I am boring. What's that?
A little presumptuous.
I'm not saying I'm the leader. I'm saying it's because I'm like the one that's like, come on, guys, really? Let's get
focus.
serious here. Let's focus. Like, no, it's not. It's not me being high and mighty. It's me saying like everyone else has fun, and I like. I'm got the sword strapped to my back, like, God, come on, Shredder's coming, guys, we gotta go. Like, nobody likes Leonardo.
Someone has to be that dude, though.
Yeah, he's just got to sort of be the dude. So,
Someone has to say, like, look, how do you host a show? I'm looking something up. Why aren't you covering me? That is a job. Someone has to do that.
I didn't mean to call you out on the air. I just felt like people were just. I was sitting here going like,
I am constantly learning and growing. And that's how you learn and grow, is when things like that happen.
I'm bad at vamping, really, more than anything.
No one's good at vamping. It's very crappy. I think I'm a Donatello.
Okay. Yeah.
But it might just be because I like purple. I don't know. I'm not a Venus. I'm sorry. They put boobs on a turtle, and I thought it was very...
Venus doesn't count. Venus doesn't count.
It's very weird.
You're not April O'Neil either.
No, I'm
no.
going to get a trench coat.
Yeah, a yellow jumpsuit.
Well, the weird Lois Laning where it's like you have to be in trouble so the turtles come and get you.
Yeah.
Not my thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think in the course of every man's life, they pass through phases of each turtle. I was born a Michelangelo, a party dude. I gained, the knowledge of a Donatello. I became I found ethics and a strong personal moral code as a Raphael, as a cool but crude / rude, up for debate. Then maturing. As I am now, into a Leonardo, into one more grounded, and I hope to one day achieve the wisdom of a Splinter. So I believe that's just the course of everyone's life.
But you're Raphael. Let's be honest.
Raphael has very serious anger issues and is very violent. And like Ninja Turtles 1, he like gets beat into a coma.
Well, that's the dark movie. The cartoon.
Yeah.
You're more of a Raphael.
Give me a break.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. Joe is not a party dude. He is very studious. Is Ryan our party dude? If we had to cast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who's Joe?
Oh, I think Joe's
Baxter.
Baxter Stockman? No.
Oh, which one of us is?
Is he Casey?
He might be
Casey.
Casey
Yeah, Casey
Jones.
Jones.
I don't know. It's so
It's also
serious.
very violent.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Joe might be Michelangelo.
He might be Michelangelo, but a Michelangelo
I think
that
he's
knows.
those kids playing with the turtles at the beginning of the
Chad is arguing that Dane is Donatello, and I'm telling them no.
Chad is arguing that I am Donatello.
You were Donatello.
I don't know if I'm cool enough to be Donatello.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't think any of us is cool enough to be Michelangelo. So you
Definitely
maybe at one
not,
point in our
no.
lives, but not anymore.
Roxy could be Michelangelo.
Yeah.
Ooh, Rox
Roxy's
could
a good
be Michelangelo.
Michelangelo.
All
Yeah.
right, we've solved it, y'all. Rox is Michelangelo. Stick around because we have a Birds of Prey junket interview. Really excited. Birds of Prey opens this weekend, and Eric Goldman, recently spoke to Margot Robbie and the cast and creators of the new DC movie about why it felt right to have an R rating and what makes Harley Quinn Harley Quinn. Is there anything else? We've got the Oscars. Spenny, is there anything that you want the people to...
Just keep clicking, just keep refreshing this page.
Yes.
Just don't stop.
Just never stop, never stopping.
And a quick rest in peace to Kirk Douglas.
Oh, yeah.
Passed away yesterday, 103 years old.
Wow.
But I mean, just again, he's been in ill health for really a couple of decades now, and I think for particularly a lot of younger movie fans, they don't necessarily register because he was in his prime before I was even born.
Right.
Just the size of an icon that he was and a star that he was, and obviously Michael Douglas's father, but one of the last, man, I don't even know how many you could say are left.
Golden.
Remnants of that old Hollywood, and I don't mean the 60s, I mean the 40s and the 50s left. So yeah, kind of bummer. Lots of go watch Spartacus. It's a great movie.
Go watch Spartacus. Thank you all so much. You can follow us on social media at Screen Junkies U. Yes, Honest Trailer. We've got the new one up for.
We'll do a commentary today at some point and put it up tomorrow. So watch that.
Yeah.
Tomorrow. Just keep refreshing the page, as
Like I
Spencer
said,
says. And we will see you back here tomorrow. Thank you all so much. Bye.
And soon enough, I was back on my feet, ready to embrace the fierce goddess within.
This movie definitely embraces its R rating. Was that very freeing for all of you as far as what you could do in the film?
The rating can sometimes be limiting depending on the characters that you're playing, especially if you're going to do action and the amount of violence that if you punch someone in the face and you can't show their nose bleeding, it just like kind of removes you from the moment a little bit, and I didn't want us to be limited in that way. It wasn't about striving for a hard R, and it certainly didn't want everything to feel gratuitous and therefore the shock factor. You know, there are those moments there when it's kind of needed, but we just wanted everyone to feel liberated to say and do what they would, and for the action to kind of have that visceral, you know, to be as savage as it needs to be. Because the other thing is, if we've got women fighting, it's gonna just look kind of pathetic if we're kind of pulling punches. We wanted it to really go for it.
Yeah, it's hard. I don't know. Yeah, it's fun to be able to, when you're playing villain stuff, it's, you know, to be a PG or PG-13 thing, it seems like it would box you in, so it is.
And I'm here to report a terrible crime.
And what terrible crime is that?
This one.
Definitely, my parents were like, okay, you can say a curse word, but only for this. But I think it was definitely more open for me to say different things and different creative curse words that Kathy and Christina would just shoot at us. But yeah, it was definitely fun and a little more open when we were doing any sorts of improv. But yeah, I mean, I feel like it would have been a totally different movie if it was a different rating.
In this story, Harley kind of finds herself at the center of the situation that brings all of you guys in together to it. What is each of your characters' first reaction to Harley Quinn? Because she's a different type.
She's annoying.
Yeah, I think we all find her pretty
We all think
annoying.
she's just annoying.
I think she's a psychopath.
Right.
That needs to be in jail.
Yeah. Right. But on the flip side, a funny thing about that is she is an ex-psychiatrist. And do you think she's still kind of analyzing you guys as you're interacting with her, even if it doesn't seem like that?
Absolutely. I mean, she's talking to me about, you know, being a master, having a master. We're nothing without a master. All these things. She's smart. Here's the thing, and that's the thing that's frustrating about her is she can penetrate you with one sentence, you know. But she's also really annoying.
I think that's why she's so fascinated with Huntress as well, because Huntress has so many issues. So she's like that sort of therapist, psychiatrist version of her is coming out going like, ooh, I want to dig in there. I want to see what's underneath all of that.
Right, and with Canary, it's like, well, why are you working at this club for this evil man, and this is not you, you know?
Psychologically speaking, vengeance rarely brings the catharsis we hope for. Yeah.
So, Margot, we had a real-life clinical psychologist at Fandom do a profile of your version of Harley based off of Suicide Squad.
Wow.
Curious if I give you a little bit of what she said and see what
Please, this is fascinating.
So she said that there are signs Harley is dealing with PTSD, and she also shows some symptoms of disassociation, where she sometimes feels disconnected from herself and her surroundings, but she stressed she's not psychotic. Does that line up at all with your interpretation of the character?
Look, I don't have a degree, so don't listen to me. But what I researched initially, and it was based on what was in the script. So in the initial Suicide Squad script, when I would say something like, that's the voices in my head, so, okay, so what mental illness gives you voices in your head? Schizophrenia. I went down a rabbit hole and found a lot of amazing TED Talks by, people who have a PhD but also have schizophrenia. Obviously, that's perfect for Harley. And I just wanted to know, what do the voices in your head say to you if you have schizophrenia?
This movie takes place in Gotham City.
Yeah.
It's, I guess you could say, Batman adjacent, with obviously Harley and some of the other characters. This is a world that has been portrayed campy, deeply serious, everything in between. So what were your discussions with Margot, with everyone, about tone, and where do you want it to kind of land with this version of Gotham?
Just doing something that felt like our own thing. I think there's something so great about the fact that Gotham can be all of these different things. We so often see Gotham at night, kind of in the Batman world, it's often like dark and foggy, and I love that. But we also just wanted to do something fun and different. Like, it's summer for most of this movie, it feels very hot and bright. And yeah, I think Kathy did an amazing job just bringing that to kind of wild, zany, brilliant, hypercolor life.
Harley, she's kind of described as an anti-hero. She started out as a villain. We've seen her change. But is it interesting to sort of strike a right balance, because it doesn't feel like she should be a superhero per se, but you want to sympathize with her?
Totally, and I think that's what's so interesting about her. I love anti-heroes because they feel more human to me. They're not perfect either way. And there's all these different sides to her, and I think in this movie you do see her be a little bit more of an anti-hero in the sense that she's going away from her more villainous past with the Joker, and now she's got now she's out on her own, and I think it's also a movie about Harley kind of finding her soul. Yeah.